3.
What's up, these guys?
And she and Harriet are the same age. My sister Harriet.
Yeah.
She's still living, not doing too well, and I never told her anybody died.
It's good.
And she had a son, and he had a son called Jay.
Mm-hmm.
J-A-Y.
He's a nice guy.
And he's a nice guy. He is my friend, and we were friends for a lot of years. And he died a few years ago. Couple of years ago. I'll fill you in on the dates on these things.
That's okay.
And after Jay died, before he died,
Jenny was Harry's wife.
he got married, and he married a girl.
She's talking about Jay now.
We're talking about Jay?
Jay, yeah.
That's the son of Harry.
Gotcha.
And Jay
Harry's
got
son,
married
Jay.
to a girl who had 3 kids,
Okay.
and he adopted them.
Mm-hmm.
And he had one, Robin, R-O-B-Y-N, and she has 3 kids, and 2 girls and a boy. I mean, 2 boys and a girl. And they live in Florida.
Okay.
And then you got, that's Harry. Louis.
Yeah.
Louis
Louis
Isidore.
Yeah.
When is a door? Not a door. And the answer is, when it's Isidore. This is a famous line.
Yeah, it's a famous line.
He used to ask us all the time, and we used to tell him. And he hated that name.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's really his first name
I was second.
or a second name, but everything he has, it says Louis, I. It doesn't say
Yeah,
Isidore.
because to distinguish him from his father.
He was a bachelor, and he never married,
No.
and he was in the First World War,
Yep.
and he went to France, and he was in the war, he was in the trenches, and he was gassed and shell-shocked, and he lost his hearing in one ear, and when he came home, he tried to get a job with the government as an accountant,
He was a trained accountant.
and they wouldn't hire him because they told him, you can't here, we can't hire you. And he went somewhere, and he went to the, I don't know if he went to the VA or he got a lawyer, but they proved that they can't do that to him. He could hear well, and he was a good accountant, and he had his own practice for many years, and then he went to work for the government, and nobody benefited from it because he died a few years later. And he died from high blood pressure and uncontrollable high blood pressure, and he was bleeding all the time. And he was 45 years old, I think, when he died.
Man.
And
So when did he die about? What
I can tell you.
Yeah.
1940.
Okay.
He died.
And that was Louis.
Just a tip.
Yeah.
You know, for the future.
Go ahead.
He belonged to our family. He lived with us.
Oh, there's no
Everybody
one.
lived with us.
The only one that didn't live with us is Harry.
Right.
Harry never left Boston and never came back. You know, he came back on
I don't
occasion.
remember hearing his name.
Huh?
I don't remember ever hearing about Harry.
Well,
Oh, he was Bobby's friend.
he used to come to my house and tell me that he thought his brother Louis was the ugliest man in the world.
Yeah, he
And
was
I
smart.
said, that's what he told me.
Harry was Jay's father,
And,
right?
and then I said to him,
He thought you
well,
were
my God, Harry, I think he looked just like you. He was a spitting image. He had the same nose, he had the same chin.
Harry was a really good-looking guy, Bobby. He was
And then they
awesome.
told me that my brother Herbie looks like Harry. And anyway, little funny stories in between. And if you want to sort through them, now I'll tell you about, that's Harry. And then we went to Louis,
Nice guy.
and now we're on Alexander.
Just finish Louis because he was a nice guy.
You have,
Louis lived with us.
Oh.
And Louis had a nice job.
Where did you
But
live
he had a
when you
lot
all
of
lived together?
girlfriends.
huh?
But
Where,
he,
where did you live at? Just for the record here.
oh, I don't
What
remember.
did he say?
In Dorchester or Mattapan, right? I mean, Roxbury?
Where do we live? With
I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
talking about Louis. Where he lived?
Well,
with
we
us.
lived on Cheney Street,
Okay, that's what I asked.
and when he got sick, he moved in with us.
Right.
What street?
Cheney Street.
Cheney Street,
That's
Which is
Roxbury.
where?
Roxbury,
Thank you.
Grove Hall.
Well, actually, go ahead.
Jill has a question.
There was a fire. Remember the
Oh, that
story
was-
about the
That's
fire?
a different
Oh, he'll tell
story.
you that
No, no,
story.
He'll
just
get
no,
there.
no. there were 3 uncles that lived with you that took off.
Oh, yeah.
Who were any of them these uncles?
Who?
You're talking about these 5.
She's asking a good
brothers.
question.
There were 5 brothers that you're talking about
Right.
now. There was a fire. Remember?
Yeah,
And-
Oh, that
and
had
they-
nothing to do with them.
Who were the 3? There were 3
No,
uncles living with you.
two uncles lived. Benny and Ben and Lewis.
So those were the 2 that took off and left your mother
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
babies. Okay. So who was the nice guy?
When
You're
there,
in trouble,
there was a
Rebecca.
fire in the house on Cheney Street.
Oh.
It was
And
the second
It's
floor.
not going to be an orderly
oh, it's a
tape.
different house.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah, different. Bobby
Different
Rose
house,
and Mattapan,
but
someplace.
2 of the brothers, 2 of Al's brothers
That's
lived
what-
with them
That's
at
what
that
she-
time.
Right.
And the story is during that fire,
Right.
those 2 brothers
Picked up the clothes and ran out of the
Right.
house.
I got
They
a
didn't
lot.
tell anybody about the fire.
packed up and left
I got a lot. Listen.
Isn't that
with
true?
the kids in the house, left the kids in the house. And the other story is that Gladdy
But you
Gladdy was credited
Right.
in the newspaper for having saved the family.
And I have the clippings on that.
Yeah.
your
Wow.
grandmother was pregnant.
Wow.
So she was pregnant. She had a baby, and then all these other little children.
And they left
The
her
uncles took
sister-in-law
They didn't-
pregnant.
No,
and
there were only 5 at that point.
They had to
Only
get up.
5. She only had 5 children.
And my
was
father
pregnant.
was out driving a taxi somewhere.
And some night.
And
And
Louie
they
and who's
took
the
off.
other that left?
Ben.
Louie and
Ben
Ben.
was,
See, I haven't heard anything about Ben.
huh?
Where was Ben in the
He was
lineup?
the youngest. Ben was
Ben was
the
the
youngest.
youngest.
So
Ben
he
came
hasn't
after
got to-
He
Louis.
was a
Okay.
selfish bastard.
Yeah, he has not
Oh,
got
that's
to
why.
Ben
Okay.
yet.
He was a
Right.
selfish
But
bastard.
Joe sort of broke the
Broke, yes.
chronology a little
Right,
bit.
yeah.
Right.
But
A troublemaker.
that's how
She
we
made a
well,
point.
but that's how we know.
A very good point.
So we raise the issue that in terms of understanding Louis and Ben,
Yeah. Yeah.
this may be the final way to interpret their
Their
relationship.
legacy
Yeah.
in this family.
Yeah.
No.
So I have about a minute of film left here.
Okay. You need about
Then
3
you
hours.
have Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Go to him.
Yeah.
He had 7 children. And I don't want to say what I was
He
saying.
had 8 children. Well, he did.
One died
He
in the
had
youngest.
8
That's right.
children.
Exactly, like 8 months,
And
9
we
months
didn't
old.
know it until we were 50 years
What
old.
that
for
got to do
crying
with it?
out
He had
loud.
9 children. One of them died when he was.
8 children, one died.
His name was Sidney. And
I never knew
when
one. Yeah.
one of these
Good
idiots, my sisters or brothers, went to name one of their kids, and my mother said, "Don't use that name. It's a bad luck name." And so nobody used it, and eventually she told us and she didn't say
He
why.
never told me.
And you were probably the one that was looking for Sydney. and so what happened is there was 7 kids
That you know.
that
survived.
lived.
Yeah.
She had a couple of miscarriages. Too.
That doesn't count.
Okay.
But Nancy would kill me too.
Oh yeah.
But the point is there were 7 kids. Gladys was the oldest, and she was born in 1921. And it was Harriet. She was born in 1923. And then it was me. I was born in 1927. And then it was Greta. She was born in 1927.
8, I think.
I was
No.
28. And then there's Herbie. What the hell year were you born?
1930.
Okay,
And
1930.
Greta's 18 months older than I am.
And
Laurel.
Laurel was born 2 years later.
1932.
And Harold was born in 1934. And the youngest one is going to be 81 in June 23rd, 2015.
That's Harold.
Very good.
That's her.
And of the 7 of us, there are 4 survivors of the 7 Joneses.
Well, that's it.
Herbie,
Yeah,
Bobby, Herbie, and Harold.
That's 3.
That's 3.
I said 3,
Okay.
All right.
didn't I?
I don't know.
But it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
It's 3.
matter.
We all agree
We all
3 is the
agree.
correct
Okay,
figure.
all right, there were 3 survivors.
All the girls are
And
gone.
we have
Yeah.
one in-law, Victor Gethlin,
Yeah.
who's still alive, and he's 98 years old. He was just 98 years in June.
God bless him.
Incidentally.
Final word. Final word. We're gonna shut it down.
And all the others are gone.
Except and Stanley.
Stanley died just a couple of days ago.
Well, he
I mean,
was
right at
living.
Stanley died shortly after Vivian.
And Vivian.
That's
Vivian died on the 9th. Stanley died, I believe, on the 11th
Yeah.
of June, 2015.
Well, it's very interesting to listen to my brother and my son,
well.
my grandson.
He knows more than I do.
Who tells the stories and they're accurate. What they
No, we're not accurate. It's just a question. When you bring these things up, you make us remember things.
That's
That's
right.
for me.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you very much.
and when
This
I
is
ask them to tell me something they remember when they were little, there's nothing they know.
That's in your opinion.
Okay, off.